And I got a letter from a guy in prison, and he'd gotten one of these aids on his child support, and he says, and it says aids in execution, and he says, Judge, he said, I know they were really serious about collecting child support, but I didn't realize that it had gone this far. Are they really going to execute me if I don't pay my child support? So it is a term of art, in other words.
I like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
You told him, yeah, I'm here first.
Yeah.
What's been the toughest part of being the chief?
Yeah, that's a good question. I suppose the hardest part at times is if you're making a decision that's going to impact the rest of the judges as well as the rest of the staff here at the courthouse. And sometimes I think that weighs heavily on me as to making the right decision. And we have 15 judges. You get everybody together and you try to collect the opinions of 15 judges, and sometimes we're not of all one same mind about
Sure.
which direction you should go. And so I think that tends to be, I think, the hardest thing. And sometimes, I mean, judges dealing with assignment issues and trying to make sure that we even up the workload of judges. That's very difficult to try to fine-tune that so that you figure everybody's pulling about the same load as far as the work that they've been assigned to do.
Explain to people what a chief judge does, because I'm not sure that there's a very clear understanding how much work there goes into that.
Well, that's a good question, because I think a lot of people think that the duties include being able to override decisions of other judges, which it does not include, because I do get a fair amount of questions, mail or phone calls saying, this judge did something, in some decision that they ruled one way, and they were wanting me to review that. They call it, sometimes they'll call it a judicial review, assuming that I'm the chief, that I can overrule or review and do a reconsideration of what another judge has done. So that is not what chief judges do. We're really responsible for the administrative side of the courts as far as policies that are adopted, and certainly I'm basically, if someone is going to be terminated or reprimanded, our administrative staff, certainly not the judicial staff, or not the judge staff, and the administrative assistants work directly for the judges, so I really don't have any jurisdiction over those folks. But the others I do, as far as if there needs to be a reprimand, or so it's a certain personnel function that the chief judge has. And under the statute, I have assignment responsibilities, and that does not mean that I look at each and every case and decide who will receive that case, because we do have different judges have different assignments, as you know, and and we're departmentalized. So, and within those departments, there is computer assignment of cases. But if someone conflicts off of a case, or if there's a motion to change judge, then I would assign to someone else. So overall, I have that responsibility of assignments. But it's not like some people think, I don't like my judge, just give me a new one kind of thing. Yeah, but there is a process. I sign contracts for the court. I'm involved in a lot of administrative decisions and a lot of troubleshooting that needs to be done from time to time. Someone needs to make a final decision on certain kinds of issues, and I do that on a lot of issues. We also have departmental heads that some of those issues would go to the head of criminal, which currently is Judge Wilson, or the head of family law, which is Judge Yeoman, or the head of civil, which is Judge Hendricks.
Mhm.
So that's I mean, every day is a new day as far as what you're going to be doing, because you really don't know a lot of times when you come to work, other than my caseload that I have and deal with the administrative side of it. A lot of times you don't know exactly what's going to come up as far as issues that you need to deal with.
Covington, Kenny Cook, retrial. Jesse Demick, good old Jesse. Mark Lucas, the serial
Shoplifter. Yeah, all those names are familiar to me.
Oh, yeah. Hunter Helmer,
Yeah.
Police Sergeant Stephen Thompson. And there were several years that I couldn't find because a change in our computer over there. So there's about, those are just the big ones that I found initially. Those are some big time-consuming cases.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm any different than the other judges here in Shawnee County, particularly those of us that are assigned to criminal cases. The cases that we have sometimes are very high-profile cases, and we are one of those jurisdictions that has a very high caseload across all our areas per judge. In fact, we've been the highest on almost every category in recent years, quite a few years back, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it varies some from year to year and from type of case to type of case, but we maintain a very high caseload here, and we do have some high-profile cases that come through here as well.
There, juggling act.
There's times that you're really strained, particularly when you're in a jury trial for a long period of time. But we have a great group of judges, and they're I think they're all really willing, if any of us are caught in court for a period of time, willing to help each other out, to cover cases. And as I said, Kathy Lenhart, as our court administrator, is a very strong court administrator and can handle a lot of the things. I would find myself, though, when you're in trial, and because trial is 9 to 5 basically, but we have, we take an hour and a half at lunch, so I would be spending any 15-minute break or any hour and a half at lunch working on administrative things or my other cases, one of the two. I mean, there's just no other time to get everything done. Returning calls and making sure that you're on top of those other responsibilities.
Sure.
The one thing that one reason I thought that it was time to step down and have someone else be appointed is you do gain a lot of knowledge and experience in a whole variety of areas, and I think that knowledge needs to be shared with others over time, so that it's not just with one person, and I think it just makes a lot of sense to have new leadership from time to time to look into some areas that maybe I hadn't been my priorities, but someone else may decide would be a good way to proceed.